Greetings, beauties all over planet Earth. What a couple of weeks it has been for me. I don't know about you, but for me it has been maddening. I'm hoping my sound is okay. If anybody could let me know how my sound is, that would be great. But I know actually there's been a couple of you that have told me my sound has been really low in my videos, and I've tried and tried to fix that, and I don't know if it's because I have an old MacBook, um, or if my mic's going. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm hoping my sound is okay. So if it's not, let me know, and I'll try and adjust. But how are you all? My goodness, you guys. It's been a very emotional, um, challenging time for me these last few weeks, and I'm just so glad that I've got through it. And I've likened it. I'm not sure what's going on with the planetary alignment, the zodiac, or any kind of astrological movement. But oh my goodness, your girl has been feeling it, and it's been a challenge for me to come online and talk about it. But now things are good, things are back to normal, and I feel okay to talk about it without breaking down and crying, because I've done that before online, because I've always kept it honest with you guys. I've always just tried to share with you things as it's happening. And gosh, this time it's been incredibly difficult because my girl Dima, my matriarchal chicken, was really, really sick and close to death, for about a week. And I was literally nursing her day and night. And it was around this time last year she was also sick, but I don't ever remember seeing her not eating. She was so sick, and this time she wasn't eating or drinking, and I knew, had I not just kept her warm, because it just happened to coincide with freezing, frigid cold weather, day and night. And we were literally in front of the fire all day, all of us. I didn't want to work. I just wanted to sit with her, comfort her, nurse her, just be with her. And I was, and all the other chooks, they were all in there as well, and they were keeping her company. She was so sick, and it was just so awful to pick her up, to put her to bed every night, and her body was just so light. There was nothing left of her. And I thought, you know what? If she doesn't eat tomorrow or drink, she's going to go. Chickens do not have much reserve. They do not have much fat on them to help them. And I was crying and crying. Of all people, I know, the cycles of life and death. We all know this, but it does not make it any easier when something or someone you love so much, you know, is dying in front of your eyes. And it was just so sad to see her so slowly decline and go out. And I just, like, oh, look, there were days where she wouldn't move from the fire, and she'd be literally, she's so skinny, her little head was just hunched in between her shoulders, and all she wanted to do was just sleep. And I didn't know, and I still don't know what was wrong with her, but after asking her, I seem to think it was something to do with her own transition and something to do with the reproductive, um, you know, anatomy with her body. I still don't know, but I seem to think she's telling me it was in the lower regions, because she wouldn't be sitting down when she'd want to sleep. She'd want to be sitting, just standing, but kind of her tail was drooped. Oh, it was just It was so awful. And I asked her, about a week into it, I said to her, "Look, honey, are you going to pass over to the cosmic ethers, the fires, the eternal fires of the cosmos?" And she told me no, she wasn't going. And I trusted her when she told me that. Animal communication. Um, but then the second week, I just thought, maybe she's changed her mind, because some days I thought she would come good because she'd have a tiny drink of water or a tiny something to eat, the most tiniest amount. And I was watching her the whole day, so I know she wasn't eating. And I just thought maybe she's changed her mind. Um, but now, oh my God, I just cannot believe that she has recovered. She slowly started eating a little bit day by day, just a little bit more, tiny little bit more movement. And then, coming on the third week, um, she picked up. She really picked up. And now the girl has got so much attitude with me. When she wants to walk down to the paddock, well, she doesn't walk. She is flapping and running with her wings, flapping. Oh God, she's got her feist back again. She's spunky now. She's got her spunk back, and it warms me so much that she got through it, because she has the ultimate life here at El Nor. This is the ultimate chicken's life. They have so much freedom. They have so much food. There's so many plants and flowers and trees and life. And why would you want to leave here? Why would you want to go? I mean, obviously she would have had her own reasons, but oh, to lose her, it would have been so devastating, just to miss listening to her song of her purring, like day and night, just listening to her singing with her purrs. And oh, just that she was one of my original chooks. She survived, two fox attacks. And if there was a good couple of months, or maybe just over a month, where she was a solitude chook. I'd put her to bed on her own at night. She had no, sisters anymore. Aziza and Amina, they were gone. And you know how traumatic that was, because I filmed when that was happening, and I promise not to put you guys through that again, because it's awful. But it was honest, it was real, and I was just recording the moment, because life on the farm and life on the land is, it looks lovely and idyllic and gorgeous, and most of the time it is. But nature can also, be very cruel and play out its cycle. And, and it's tough. It's tough, especially on your own. And your chickens are such an integral part of your company and your life. And it just doesn't make it any easier. And so it was very honest. And um, if she had passed, if Dima had decided to pass, it probably would have taken me a lot longer to be doing this live stream, because I did not want to. Um, I know you guys really appreciate the honesty and the transparency with everything that happens here, but you know me, I just couldn't stop. I would not be able to stop myself from crying or being emotional about it, and I don't want to set other people off. And in many ways it's lovely to share it, but then it's tough, and everybody has their own challenges and hardships in life to deal with, and they certainly don't need mine on top of that. So I'm very conscious of that. And you know um, but now also my girl Venus, um, I don't know what's going on with her, but she's eating and she's happy and she's drinking enough, but she's had a limp. She's been hip hopping for a while, um, and I don't know if she's got a bit of arthritis, but all she wants to do is pretty much sit all day. Sometimes she'll get up and scratch and have a little play with her sisters, but otherwise they will, the three of them, the other three will be out there, and I'll see Venus just sitting out in the sawdust, just happy, just content. And she does not argue when I put her to bed early, because I can see if it's getting late, she's sitting outside. I figure she'll be happy to sit in her bed, um, and just, be happy to be content in a warm space. And I leave the door open so she can see the garden and see us playing out there. Um, but I'm not sure what's going on with her. But I have just got to stop intervening and let nature take its course. And this is the thing, we seem to think we know better than nature. Um, but animals know. Animals know what they're doing. They know us better than we think they know. They feel us, they feel our emotions. They know when we're upset. And whether they can see energy, I'm pretty sure they can see the auric field. I'm pretty sure they can see things about us that we perhaps um, do not know about. I seem to think animals can see more of the spectrum, and they have their own language. It's very telepathic. So I know when my chickens are off, even if they're not really showing symptoms. I feel it. Um, so even though, Venus is quite happy, there's something going on with her. I feel like her joints, and I'm not really sure, but I can understand the intervention when there's an emergency, such as a blocked crop, because I have intervened and I have, used a syringe to put like an oily mix or like an egg yolk mix with some water mixed in with it. I do feed my chickens when they're sick their own eggs, and they pick up so quickly when I do this. I don't crack the egg usually in front of them. I have before, but everybody's telling me, oh, you shouldn't crack eggs in front of chickens. Well, you know what? I've done that, and they have never, ever once cracked their own eggs. They are very well behaved chickens. And so when they are sick, I have fed them their own eggs. I mix them up. I want them to have all the protein and all the fats and everything in them, and they eat them. And that has picked them up. So it's basically, the medicine for them is to feed them their own eggs. Whether people agree with it or not, it has always worked for me. And they love it. It gives them, so if they're not eating, you can give them that because it's this, so many vitamins and minerals. There's a lot of good fats in there. They got the protein, they got the moisture, the salts, the sugars, everything. Everything they need is in there. So, and it's slippery. So if there is a blockage, there is nothing better than mixed up egg to feed your chickens. So it helps slip and lubricate the crop into the stomach and out through. So, I've always just fed them that. I've read online how people feed them a water oil mixture, but that would make, you know how it feels to have too much oil. That would make them feel so sick. It'd be awful for them, and it's not natural for them. Whereas their egg yolk is so much better. It's so much better. So, anyway, this is how it is, life on the farm. And it's been a very emotional, tumultuous time for me. And I am not a crier, but I can tell you the first and second week, oh God, I did not eat. I wasn't eating. I wasn't sleeping. Um, I know when people stress, and I hate using that word stress, but I was under a lot of emotional duress. Like I really was feeling the stress and the worry and the concern. I can't eat. I physically cannot swallow. Some people are the opposite. Some people, eat more. But for me, I cannot. My stomach is in knots. My stomach churns, and I physically cannot eat. The appetite just goes, and it was really, really difficult for me. But we got through it, and I'm happy to say I'm definitely eating again. um, so, whatever happens with Venus, whatever happens with any of them, you know, I believe that intervention with your animals should only be when it's critical or if there is a blockage. I'm sorry about my lighting. I'm really trying to get that fuzz off of there, but it's so dark outside. I've got my lights on. Um, it's winter. I've washed my clothes, and it's 3 days later, and they are still moist. So I'm trying to dry things off, but nothing's drying because it's cold and it's wet, and it's real gloomy winter weather. So I've got a couple of other things I want to share with you that are a little bit bombastic, a little bit bombshellish. How about here? Oh no. It's this glaze. This because it's cloudy, it's this glaze that's creating this kind of fragmented picture. So I'm hoping it'll pass, and I'm sorry about that. So I'm just checking in with you guys. Hello. Hi everybody. Hi Helen. Hi LL. Hi Toto. Thank you so much. Hi Ross. Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah, huge heavy transits. Oh, let me tell you about it. It's not just me. There are so many people that I know that are going through some heavy transits. And this is why I have written this theming live stream as moving through the asteroid belt, because that's what it feels like. Hi, Johnny. Good morning. Thank you so much, Johnny. Hi, Fractal Visions. Oh, you're so gorgeous, everybody. Oh, oh, look, for the most part, I'm happy anyway, Johnny. Like I really am. And I try to make the most. I don't try, I do. I make the most out of um, every situation that comes, no matter the challenges. But you know what? No matter how much I'm a goddess on this planet, just like there are so many other goddesses walking this planet, I am still human. I am still a woman of planet Earth, and I feel, and being a clairvoyant, I'm so empathetic to animals and to nature and to my environment, and I'm so sensitive to the finer detail of life. I'm so conscious of the imprint that I just have to adjust, the imprint that I'm leaving behind, and the imprint of others, that they're leaving behind. So I also want to share with you, and it may come as a surprise, but I am planning to leave Elnor Gardens. Yep. So I'm leaving this Elnor, and I am picking it up, and I'm moving somewhere else. I need to change my location. For so long, I have done my best to make it work out here. But this location, it's it is not it's not home to me, and it's not home. And because there are multiple of factors why it doesn't feel like home. Number one, of course, because I'm not in the desert. My heart is in the desert. I entered this world in the desert, and I love the Flinders Ranges. I am still on the lip of the Flinders Ranges, but I am not in the heart of the Flinders Ranges, around Wilpena Pound, around that area. And although real estate is pretty scarce there, my heart is there, and I can't shake that. And life is too short to be trying to make something work that just doesn't feel like it's working. It has been working, and I have absolutely done the very best by create. You can see what I've created here. I have really done the best. But there are some things that have really stopped me from progressing forward or being entirely comfortable here. Because when I create Elnor, it has to be for life for me. I want to wake up and feel so content with my location, with everything about, where I live. And this place at the time when I bought it was, it was a means to an end. It was cheap, and it was convenient. It was easy for me to start. But I will say that there have been several contributing factors that have pretty much, given me the conclusion of moving. And number one, because even though I'm in an isolated region, I am on a main road, and I have absolutely no privacy at Elnor. There is no privacy. I cannot. walk out my yard naked. Not that I would, but I cannot do that. And I could even do that in my old place in the desert, in my little flat that I had. I could do that if I wanted. I cannot do that here, even though I have land. There are roads all around the perimeter, and they're busy. Like people are using them, and that has been the biggest factor. That's been huge for me. Again, the location is another. And even though I love isolation, this is not the place. This is not the environment or the place that I want to feel this isolation, because the separation is intense. And I figured if you are not happy in a location, I'm not happy, but I'm not completely content. If you are not happy in a location, then you've got to go to the place where you resonate and where you feel the vibrational resonance. This is not it for me. Um, and also, it's the neighbors. Not so much, across the road, but there are some new neighbors that have come in and they are not going anywhere. And the reason I say that is because I had a little bit of a confrontation with one of them last weekend. And so what had happened is, a lot of you know from my past live streams, I had a bit of an incident with some idiot shining their spotlights through my bedroom window for over a half an hour at 10 o'clock one night. And it was this woman who did this, and we had it out. Remember, I was angry. I drove my car with my spotlights on, and I went up, and she was bedazzled. And I just said, listen, it's past 10 o'clock at night. You have had your lights shining through my bedroom for the last half an hour. I'm like, what is going on? This is so unacceptable. I'm like, where is your country courtesy? Anyway, fast forward, this last weekend, what bothered me again last time was this young girl, unlicensed, no license, hooning up and down this main road with her racing motorbike. Oh my God. Like she come out again with this bike this weekend. 8:30 on a Sunday morning, that real oh, I thought, you have got to be joking me. This is hideous. Well, you know what? I stood out here on my balcony and I watched her. And when Andulairah is not happy, that 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 feeling and that vibe is translated light years away. So I'm standing there, and I was talking to my father on the phone. So I had my phone down like this, and I could hear him. He's like, I won't share the expletives that he used, but he was basically, what the hell is that noise? And I'm just like, it's those neighbors again down the road, that have bought this, property down the road. And I looked at her, I eyeballed her, and just followed her the whole way down. Then she come back up again. I followed her with my eyes. I went around the yard, and I was just watching her, just watching. But that was enough for her to go down and tell this woman, this grandmother, it turns out it's the grandmother, telling her that I was filming her. Grandmother comes up all feisty and ready to get into it. And I walked out and I met her out there, and she just knew, just from the look of me, that she needed to calm down. She needed to calm down, so she did. And I had a few firm words with her and just said, look, this is happening way too much. I said that it's a Sunday morning. We have so many dirt roads around here. Why can this girl, if she needs to ride on a public road with no license, why can she not just go out around these dirt roads and stop annoying the neighbors? Because I'm not the only one that was pissed off by this. Oh, well, I can't watch her, and she's young and she's been through the most traumatic week and she wants to let off some steam. I'm like, let her let off steam. Just don't do it on public roads. I said to her, you have no idea how other cars are flying down this road because there's no speed limit. And so they fly down here, and this girl is just coming up the opposite way, you know. And even last time, she wasn't even wearing a helmet, and I pointed that out to her. The grandma was like, "Oh, well, we forgot it last time." Whatever. I don't need to hear that. So we talked for about 45 minutes, and you know, she went into detail about, and she says to me, she's like, "Well, you know, we're not going anywhere, so you know, we better get along with each other." And I'm like, "We do not have to get along if you do not do the right thing." I just made it clear. Do the right thing, and there is no problem. I said to her, I am a very easygoing, extremely private person, and you will not have an issue with me so long as you respect all the neighbors around here, because everyone else gets along. Nobody's ever had issues here with anybody. Um, and so, you know, I will be very easy to get along with if you do the right thing and you have respect for your neighbors. But if you don't, you know, it's gonna be a shitstorm. And I do not want that. I do not want that. I'm not someone that is going to sit back though and tolerate it, because I've come here for peace and quiet. I've come here to connect with earth, to connect with nature, to have simplicity and beauty and privacy. But I'm not getting that here. So the privacy is a huge issue. The noise is a huge issue for me. And for other people, maybe it's not. Maybe you're okay with that, but I am not. You know, the smallest things, you know, irritate me. When I was up in Queensland at Mount Glorious, I've spoken about this before, how every morning I would go for a walk in the rainforest. And not only would I hear people on their phones and yelling and screaming on their phones because the signal was bad. I noticed a woman with her kid and her partner smoking, and then she put out the butt, squashed the butt in the rainforest. I just thought, you moron. How could you do this? How could you be so unconscious about this? And how could you do this to, you know, one of the last beautiful rainforests in this area? I was shocked, you know, but this is people. This is how people are. And she wouldn't even have thought about it for a second after. And I almost went back and told her to pick it up. But I thought, you know what? I do not need a confrontation with these people. They didn't look like the friendliest type of people. Uh, um, and so anyway, I just picked it up. I picked it up and I took it because I did not want to get into it in the rainforest. So, you know, um, it's the fine detail that I really pay attention to. And people are just so unconscious of that detail. So now, you know, I have made the firm decision. I'm selling Elnor. I have 2 acres, 2 houses, and I have done the very best. All this renovation, you see, this is the thing. I've put in so much effort, and to now leave it, I wish I could just transport the house and this house and take it with me, because I love my house. I love what I've created here. I love what I've done in my workshop, the cellars, the old stone buildings, the old cabinets, my God. I love that. And I really hope that I can, well, I'm visualizing and, you know, keeping the dream of what I'm desiring in that stream, in that abundant stream. But I really hope I can find something very similar. But my requisites are no neighbors and privacy. Have to have privacy, have to have a little bit of land, you know, maybe 2 to 5 acres. I'm absolutely content with 2 because that's what I have here. But now I have the job of digging up all my date palms. So I've done most of them. I've done all the little ones, over 200. I had actually, sorry, I didn't dig up 200, but I have over 200 little ones. So I have 100 that I've propagated this season. And from last summer, this summer that's just gone, well, you know, the ones they've just survived. They're looking pretty sad. I dug all those up. So that's another 100 or so. Dug those up. Now is just digging up the big mamas. the big mamas. There's like 15 of them. Oh, and I have to do it now. Have to do it within the next few days because it's winter. There is there is not a better time than now to do this. So so I've got to do that, and I'm taking all my roses. So I'm cutting back all my roses, keeping all the cuttings, hoping I can generate some more roses, and then cutting back the root systems of all the bigger ones, putting them in pots. So it's a massive effort, but it's worth it because once they're all dug up and in pots, I may not find another place for maybe another 6 months to a year. I'm hoping it's sooner than that, but I just want to be ready to go. So now the effort is focused on clearing and cleaning this place. I mean, it's relatively clean now, but um, getting it organized to sell. So you know what I mean. There's a couple of things I need to finish painting. The cabinets in the workshop, um, to having it ready to sell. So my price is $220,000. If you have that, you can have this place. So, I'm negotiable, but that's, after everything that I've created, that I've fixed up, that I've done, um, that's what I'm asking for. So if you want to move to Australia and you're happy to pay around that, well, my Eleanor can be yours. So I've set the foundation. But Eleanor too is going to be somewhere else. So I am going to be creating Eleanor somewhere else. So, gosh, it's and I am going to be leaving a lot of plants behind, but the main ones I'm taking that I would like to continue with will be obviously the date palms, the roses, and the saffron, and a couple of my fruit trees. But there are some fruit trees, such as my olives and the peaches, the apricots, the apples, that they're just too well established that I can't take them. The root systems are too big, and I'm frightened that if I take them out, I'll kill them. So there's going to be a lot left behind. And then all the hedging that I've done at the front, so that's all established. It's about a foot now. They were tiny like this when I first started. So it's all set up. The foundation is here. All this is staying. All this work. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see when it will sell and how it will sell and how this is going to come about. I have no idea where I'm going to go just yet, but I'm ready to. I'm ready to make the transition, and nobody likes moving. It's the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing to have so much. I really don't have that much stuff, but I have a lot of antique furniture. Look at these sofas that I've just finished. They're coming with me, but that's a lot of work, a lot of lifting. And I do not shy away from hard work, but I know how hard it was to bring these sofas in. It's work. So, yeah, it's going to be a heavy but gentle and slow transition. Just checking in with you guys. Hi, Coco. Yes, that's right, Ross. I agree with what you're saying. Ross says here, Eleanor is a state of mind. You'll rebuild bigger and better. The energy is yours. Thank you so much for your encouragement. Yes, Oasis, that's right. So ideally, I would love to be in the heart of the Flinders, but all those places there, they are big parcels of land, and I really don't need that much. But if it comes with a place that's within my budget, maybe I will buy some big land. I don't know, but the universe knows what I've put out. The universe knows my heart better than I know my heart. So I will trust in the movement and the frequency that I'm emitting and that I'm receiving. But I look at this Eleanor, this baby Eleanor, as a bridge. It very, very much has been a bridging nursery for me. So Because of this place, I have been able to propagate all the date palms that I need, and generated all the roses that I need. Um, and natives, my goodness, I have so many baby natives all in little pots. So in many ways, this has been a nursery for me, um, which has been great. I've been able to start this, and to be comfortable, and to um, not have to go out and actively seek more work. So I'm lucky. Alhamdulillah, I am lucky that I have been able to support myself with my business ventures that I have. And thank you so much for you guys for buying my products and supporting what it is that I do here, particularly my Patreons. Thank you so much for believing in me. Thank you so much for believing my dreams and feeling inspired by what I'm doing. I'm so honored and feel so privileged that you feel that you could live vicariously through me. So thank you so much to everybody that has supported me. And you get the vision. You get where I'm wanting to go with this. So in many ways, this baby Elnor, this will always be Elnor. But so I've imprinted the energy here. So whoever comes here is going to feel this, is going to be magnetized and attracted to buying this place. And I have full trust in the way the universe works with this place. But now, it's just time for me to find the settling place. And it could take a while. I do not want to rush this process. I want to wait to find the right place. And I don't care how degraded the land is. The land itself is not the issue, because I can make anything work. You should have seen how bad, well, not bad, but how poor the soil was before I came in and conditioned it with sawdust, with newspaper, regenerating it with urine, of all things. It's the golden elixir of the gods. And now growing life, an abundant life. You should see my spinach. My spinach is unbelievable right now, and I'm eating it every day. This was just, some packet spinach. Actually, it's a bit of a mixture. I did get some heirloom mix of spinach and Russian kale. But this spinach, this one packet that I had no idea is a baby spinach, it has just gone berserk since I've been fertilizing it with urine. I mean, if you've seen my pictures on Instagram, on my Elnor Gardens Instagram, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's massive spinach, and it is delicious. It is so delicious. My God, I eat it with everything. I have it with my banana smoothie. I saute it at night with my food. I have been making a really nice dip with it. So you all know how I love making my sourdough bread. So I'll cook a couple of pieces of toast of my sourdough bread, and then I'll mix up a whole bunch of sauteed spinach and a little bit of kale. I put in a little few spices, and then I put in a little piece of Philadelphia cream cheese with a little bit of French onion soup mix. It is just, it's decadent. It's decadent, and it is too good to eat. It's so good. And so I've been living off of that. I wasn't living off of anything when I wasn't eating, but that is my go-to meal in winter. It's hearty, it's filling, it's warm, it's delicious. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Oh, I'm looking at some spinach I've got in my kitchen now, and it just makes me want to get up and eat it. But it's a really beautiful spinach. No bitterness. It's salty, it's sweet, it's crunchy, it's soft. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you guys like spinach, but I think you know that I do. So, yes. Just reading your comments. Hi, Whitney, honey. So glad I caught you live. As always, you are such an inspiration. Sending you so many blessings. Oh, Whitney, you're so sweet. DS says, where are you moving to? I'm not actually sure yet, but it's not back to the Middle East, because how can I transport all my date palms? Not only that, but most of my family is here. I do have family back overseas, but this is my entry point, the Flinders Ranges. If you watched my Stardust and Aliens little film movie, you'll see where I grew up and where I entered the planet. And anytime that I've anytime that I've needed to ground, anytime that I've come back from being overseas, I have to go back there. It's so silent. The silence is deafening. It's so magical. It's so sacred to me. It's as a kid, as a child, I felt so hard done by that I lived in this area because all I wanted to do was to go to the city, to go to the cinema, to do kid things. But now, as an adult, no matter where I've lived in the world, New York City, Los Angeles, London, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, anywhere that I've lived, all I've wanted to do was to come back to this one, silent, isolated, remote place, the last frontier on Earth. I mean, obviously, I know there are a lot of wild type places still left on the planet, but this one is my place. And I've obviously you've seen older videos of me being in this place, and it just takes me. I can't even explain it. I can't even explain it. Just an amazing place, and how I got it right, how I got the entry point into this life, into this planet, in that region. I'm so thankful and appreciative of that now. So I'm not sure where I'm going, but it's going to be around the Flinders because that's where my heart is. That's where this high strangeness, this is where that sacred energy is the most. And remember, well, actually not remember, but if you have seen that little film, Stardust and Aliens, I talk about grid point 44, which is the only place in Australia where all the telluric lines, all the earth lines, the ley lines that cover the grid of the planet intersect. Grid point 44 is the only place in Australia where this happens. And grid point 44 is in between Wilpena Pound and Martin's Well. And I talk about Martin's Well, which is called Martian's Well by the locals because of its high strangeness. It is likened to, is it called Skinwalker Ranch? It's that kind of place. Weird, high strange stuff going on there. And only because I am local and only because I know from other locals do I know what has happened at Martin's Well. And that's extremely isolated. And you can see that. I explain it all on that film. And then I share the encounter that I had with one woman that used to live there. Terrifying encounter for her. And she lived to tell it to me. And that is one of many, many things. Lots of strange things. I remember a very good family friend of mine sending me a picture of a cow that had obviously died, but it was just so abnormal the way it had died and the way the stomach had just blown up and the it looked like, I mean, we all know about the cattle mutilations, but this was so odd. And because he knew of my own experiences, he's like, what do you make of this? Because he's a proper landowner, big landowner up in the far north. He's like, what do you make of this? I'm like, oh my goodness, I have no idea. Because obviously he knows how cows and cattle die. He would have seen them forever, his whole life. But this shook him. This shook him. And it shook me. So, and it's just one of those things that people do not like talking about in that area. Especially the indigenous folk, the Adnyamatna people, who's the local tribe up there. They're very reluctant to talk about these things, but I know that there are places up there that are just out of bounds to even them. They will not go there. Even they call them the sacred sites, but there are places that tourists have gone, without even knowing the knowledge of staying away from these places. There have been tourists that have been found dead in their tents there. Absolutely. And people have disappeared. Only a couple years ago, a man disappeared. He was never found. He was never found. There was the biggest search party for him. I mean, with our technology, like, how could you not locate him? It was very obvious of where he went, and he was not ever found. No trace of him. All his stuff left behind. Oh, look, this place, it's strange. It's sacred. It's beyond even my understanding. But this is where I'm attracted to going back. And it's, I'm not sure if I'll go exactly back there, but even closer to there, I would be content with this. I would be very content with this. So we'll wait and see. But universe knows how I'm feeling, and we are planning this together. And I have full faith that it will happen as it needs to, as it's always happened for me. Um, I am a living, breathing example of things falling into place exactly at the right time. Not a second before, not a second after. So I have full faith whatever happens, it will be as it needs to, as it needs to. So had it not been for the Daintree rainforest property that I bought, I wouldn't have been able to put down the deposit even for this place. So in many ways, that was a bridge as well. And had it not been for the sale of the Daintree property, I wouldn't have been able to publish Eyes of the Scarlet Rose in that beautiful format, the book, with the embellishments of the embossed writing. I wouldn't have been able to afford to do that, because I cannot afford to do that with the Arunasis medallion. As much as I would love to do that book, really finish it nicely, it's thousands of dollars to print like a massive book like that and have it as beautiful as Eyes of the Scarlet Rose. I'm actually working on doing the audio and uploading the audio of Eyes of the Scarlet Rose on my YouTube channel. So if you love the story, or if you haven't even read it, maybe you'll like to hear the audio. So, and the soundtrack that I use for the audio is actually what I listened to as I was writing the book. That the music transported me back into that world, into that realm. And yeah, that I've always said that writing that book was like a virus. All the days were blurred, day and night, and it's funny because I think that energy is translated to my readers because people couldn't put the book down. I'd be getting messages left, right, and center. One local lady, she sent me a message when I had my Facebook account. She's like, oh my goodness, she's like, I have been so sick. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. My eyes are watering and stinging. She said, but I cannot put your book down. So, and she was one of other people who would read it in like 8 or 9 hours, not being able to put the book down. So I think people were living and breathing that story with me, because that's exactly how I felt when I wrote it. And it was very hard for me to stop and put the story down. I just had to keep going with it. So, it was unreal how that translated. So, yeah, so lots of developments. Sorry, I'm just trying to unnumb my tush because I'm sitting on the floor. One thing I will not miss about this place is my blue carpet. I mean, it's fresh, isn't it? Oh, goodness. So, whatever happens, I do not want to rush, as in with packing and clearing and organizing this place. I want to do it gently. I want to do it slowly. A lot of the furniture is going to be staying behind. That big, beautiful shop bench that I've got all my artwork on. I mean, I can't take that with me, despite how much I love that so much. I love that shop bench. I love my fine art in there. I can't take that with me. It's a part of the place. So whoever buys this place is going to appreciate that and love that. And in actual fact, there's a lot of attractive selling points about this property, and I hope whoever is attracted to buying it is resonating with the theme of Elnor Gardens. Whoever buys it will be, because if not, they'll be buying something else. So I have full trust in the way that that works. But it's not up on the market yet. It will not be until I finish digging out all the plants, which could take me about a month, and then full clean out, full clean out. So basically, when it's on the market, if it moves quick, if it flips quick, I can literally pretty much move out of here in 2 weeks' time. So I've got that 2 week window thing. Yes, Lady Knox, sister is moving, honey. Sister is eventually going to be moving. Thank you, DS. This is a tachita. This is a Maghrebia, Moroccan type of jalabia. You could call it a jalabia. But I absolutely love them. I love them. They are the most beautiful dresses in the world. I don't care what anybody says, but they are the most beautiful dresses in the world, and you can get them very elaborate. Wedding ones, they're very popular for wedding dresses. But I love these. This is a very simple one. Usually you can get the beautiful crocheted silk knots down the middle. This one doesn't have them. But anyone that has been to Morocco, or not even been to Morocco, but if you look up Arabic dresses or French Arabic dresses, just Maghreb dresses, you will see these, and they are stunning, and they are the most beautiful dresses in the world. So thank you. LL says move to the USA. Oh, look, I don't think I could do the USA. That is completely out of my system. I often think about going back with Dale Franks because I love my Dale Franks. Dale Franks is in Eyes of the Scarlet Rose, and I love Montecito. And I love that Montecito is spread out. There's a lot of land in Montecito. I love the mountains, but obviously that's very, very expensive. And look, I don't miss America, and I do not really like what's happening over there right now. So it's a nice thought, but I don't think so. And the headache that I had with my green card, oh my God, I never want to go through that again. Ross says Elnor 1.0 was the dress rehearsal. 2.0 is going to be pop-off. Oh, that's cute. Hi, Prenom. How are you? Love your dress. We wear the same in Algeria. MashaAllah. Yes, they are. Yani, hello wired. I love them so much. Kashka, in every sense of the word. Hey, Sandy. LL says, what's your daily spiritual practice like? Meditation, spells. Well, let me tell you, the last 2 weeks it hasn't been very, because I've been so emotionally drained. I've been doing a lot of visualization with Dima, a lot of singing, actually, a lot of chanting, a lot of prayer, a lot of chanting. Singing to her. She loved when I would sing to her. So I would just sing to her and the other chooks, and they would go to sleep. I'd be chanting. But usually when everything is normal here, I have a morning, small, simple morning ritual, and then at night. It's to honor my life, honor the universe, honor the world around me, set my intentions for the morning, like literally set them. You decide how your day is going to turn out. And sometimes people are doing this very, very unconsciously, and it turns out not how they would like it to turn out. But this is why you must know that you are absolutely the captain of your ship, and you decide your reality and how your life turns out. So it's a very simple, consistent practice for me. Spell work, when You know what? Despite everything that's happened here, I did do a little bit of spell work to condition this energy, to tweak it in regards to what's happening around my place, but the location is not right. I mean, if I really wanted to hag it out and stay here, I would be doing some major spell work. But because my heart is not here, I don't need to be doing anything. I will be moving. So that's already out there, and that is the plan. So I haven't had to do any big conditioning work, big spell work. Introverted entrepreneur. Your Stardust and Aliens film was beautiful. I think about it so often. It was very impactful. Love it. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, Athena. Hi, honey. Listen, Elnor is wherever you go. That's right. I love the journey that you have been and still are on. Thank you so much. And that's exactly right, because the intention and the dream has always been the same. Even when I first started developing it when I was in Mongolia, I started drawing pictures of what I wanted, setting it up. So the dream has always been the same. Even when I was in the Daintree, all these leading up places to the ultimate place. And so this is why I have got to be patient and I've got to get it right. I'll know when it's right. I'll feel it. I'll feel it. And I don't know how long it's going to take. And I'm hoping it doesn't take too long, but I'll know when I've got the right place. Um, and you know, that is the settling place, because all the plants are ready to go. They're ready to settle. They're ready for a new home. They're ready to be put in the ground. Um, and where that ground is, I have full faith. I have full faith that it will be as it's meant to be, with privacy. And if I want to go out my garden naked. And you know, I really want to do that at times, because you know that's such a connection to the earth. That's so integral in witchcraft, you know, to really blend and just strip it all off, and to be so vulnerable and so powerful in all your bodily essence. Um, you know, so many times I want to do that. I used to do that when I was up in the desert, when I had a little bit of privacy, but here, you know, I am a very private person by nature, and I certainly don't want to frighten anybody else, and um, I don't want to offend anybody else, especially the elderly people living around here. Daisy F said, is there a video with you discussing your furniture and where you bought it? I have spoken about this. I believe it may be on my Elnor blog. This furniture is 1940s um, French furniture. I bought it from an antique shop, and I actually upholstered it and myself. So I basically watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos of teaching me how to do this. I bought the stuff, so I re-webbed it, I re-wadded it. I bought all my silks, got my silks from India, and got my velvets. I did it all myself. So I've got two here that still need work. And then I've got two in the workshop that need work. But I think I'll get one done before I leave here, but the other three I'll do somewhere else. Athena says, honestly, fall, winter by you is definitely the best time to move. That summer heat would have been ludicrous. Oh my goodness. Honey, you have no idea how hot it was. Not just even hot. You know what? I can cope with the heat. It wasn't the heat. It was the mozzies, the mosquitoes, the ants. I didn't see any snakes this year, surprisingly. Um, oh, look. And it was, I became brittle because I wanted to do so much work. And I can work in the heat. I don't really have a problem with that. But I just physically couldn't do it because I could not get through the working afternoon or day without getting eaten alive. It was making me mental. And I do have a video of me, I think, out there getting bitten. It was horrendous. And I just, I don't want to say I loathe or hate any kind of season, because in any other circumstance it's fine and I can cope with it. But mosquitoes, I can even cope with the flies. The flies are horrendous. I can deal with those, but mosquitoes just, it's just like needles just pricking your skin constantly. And how can you work with that? How can you enjoy your work? I was not. And even when I'd be sleeping, every single night, all I would hear is just all the time. God. Oh, I'm laughing now because I don't have them. But it's so painful. I will not miss another summer here, and I'm hoping I'm out before then, but we'll see. If I have to deal with it, I'll deal with it. But God, summer is so painful here. So painful. Um, I would love to see a video about the furniture and decorating too. Well, maybe I will. I'm not sure, but I have spoken about it before. Um, and I think there's a fair bit actually on Patreon, there is a fair bit, but also I think on the Eleanor blogs, there is, okay, so on my Patreon, there are some posts that I did that you don't actually have to be a paying Patreon, so you can still be a public Patreon and read some of the free blogs or the posts. I just can't remember which ones are which, but there is a lot of content on my Patreon page. Yeah, I'm just moving down. So there's something else that I want to tell you guys. Oh, we're talking about the book. LL says, awesome. Excited to listen to it on your channel with the music soundtrack. Oh, introverted entrepreneur said, haha, I was like that with your book too. Couldn't put it down. Hi, Gakota. Just tuning in. I like your makeup today. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. Hi, pretty. You thought it was a shirt. No, it's a full dress. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Lady Knox. Hi, Pretty says, my father's second wife was Moroccan and we always wore those in his home. Yeah. You know what? It's the most common dress in an Arab household. You either wear a very light jalabia, with a shayla, with the scarf, or you wear something like this. Um, this is, a little bit more dressy for the household. You usually wear something a little bit more basic, but if you're going out, sky's the limit. Sky is the limit. Hi, Luis. Thank you so much. Ross says, did you have any video on your old channel about crafting and charging talismans that was saved? Could you possibly put one together if not? I'm not sure. I'll have to look. I've got so much of a collection of videos. I don't know. Oh, there's so many videos. I'm going to have to, I'll have a think about it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but if I go into the file of all the videos, I'll see, I'll see. Oh, Elsa said to me, this is a random question, but what's your favorite perfume scent? Oh my goodness. You're talking to someone that was living in the Middle East. I have so many favorite perfume scents, but I do have one. And I'm just trying to see if it's here. But I like anything with, okay, so okay, so obviously I love my fragrances that I've created, but if we're talking about bought fragrances, um, there is one by a local company in the Emirates in Dubai, and called it's called Oud Hamdan, um, and you cannot buy it here. And I've ran out, and it is my absolute favorite. The perfume spray, I do have the oil of it. I do have the oil still of it, and I try not to use it because I love it so much. What else? Um, there is one by Swiss Arabian called Kashka, which is beautiful. Uh-oh. Hello, Chucky girl. Here's my girl, Erithe. She's coming in. There are a couple by Rasisi from the Emirates as well that I really, really love. Um, Anything with oud, if you know what Dehen el Oud is. Anything, oh my gosh, like it's hard to. Anyone that lives in the Middle East will know what I'm talking about. You couldn't possibly um, have one favorite because there's so many good perfumes and oils, and that is the absolute impetus, the crux of the world of perfume. The best perfumes in the world are from the Middle East, hands down, without a doubt. Um, so I don't. It's so hard for me to give you a favorite. But another brand that I really, really, really love, but it is super, super, super expensive, is Abdul Samad Al Qurashi. So Abdul Samad Al Qurashi is a Saudi Arabian brand, or at least it was. I don't know if somebody else has bought it, but it's a very bespoke, elite, very specialist um, perfume company in the Middle East. But they have oud that's like 200, 300 years old, and it is so expensive. If you go there, you see these big vats, these big um, glass vats and decanter glass containers full of these blends of Cambodian oud or Vietnamese oud. Oh my goodness, Bismillah, they're amazing. Um, they're not all entirely expensive, but that would have to be probably my most favorite brand. But look, I'm trying to move to another house, and that is something I'm just cannot afford to put my money into right now. So you can see Erithe, she's here. Hi, girl. She's she's coming in. Off she goes. Every night I will put a hot rock under their bums so they keep nice and warm. So what else I wanted to share with you? Stretching my legs again. Um, what I also wanted to share with you is that something very strange happened, and I feel so good that it's happened again. Um, so I've had a bit of an encounter. Not in the dream state. This was real life, and it hasn't happened for months and months. And a lot of you know that I was seeing this blinking, stationary, flashing, pulsing um, craft or light in the sky. I had been seeing it up in the desert, um, but then when I moved down here, I didn't see it. And I thought, oh, well, maybe it just was a local anomaly in that area in the desert. Well, I was wrong. I have been seeing it down here as well. But the strangest thing happened the other night, just as Dima was getting sick. So it was at night. It was about 6:30 at night, and I had gone into the bathroom to run a bath. I turned the tap on and I looked at my towels, and I just got thumped, hit by the loudest, most intense ear ringing as if you had been to a rock concert and you were standing right next to the speaker. That kind of ringing. It was so intense. I was just like, oh God, tell me this is not going to be in my ear for the rest of the night, because there's no way I could have slept with that. It was so loud. It was so loud. But I know from these experiences of having ears ringing, it's either a download happening, an energetic download, whether it's dialogue going on with our brothers and sisters in space, or there is a craft or a being or something outside. As soon as I've started talking about this, my screen has gone milky. What is going on right now? Oh gosh. So anyway, this ringing in my left ear was probably the most intense I've ever experienced with any kind of ear ringing, and it went on and on and on, because usually it stops after a few seconds. This went on, I would approximate, because I was in the bath, for about 10 minutes, because I was listening to some dialogue, I was listening to something on my computer in the bath, and that goes for about 12 minutes. Well, this finished just before whatever I was listening to stopped. So it just kind of dimmed out and left. But I know I when I get some kind of ear ringing like this, I'll look out the window just in case there's something outside. Nothing outside. So, I kind of just forgot about it. Didn't see anything. No one was around. Right. I then, after the bath, went outside because I've got a microwave down in my cellar, because I do not want a microwave in here. I kept this old microwave, and I'm glad I did, because I was going to throw it out ages ago, but I left it in the cellar, and it's the only way I can warm up this hot rock, this animal warmer that you put under them or put near them to keep them warm at night, especially if they're babies or whatever. And you warm them up for oh, you can't see her. You put them in the microwave for about 8 to 9 minutes. So I went outside and I put this thing in the microwave, and so I just went out, and because I do not want to be in the same room when my microwave is on, so I go outside. The night was majestic. The cosmos here, the thing about living in a kind of isolated place, or in South Australia in general, is the nightscape. The night sky is breathtakingly beautiful. And this night was no exception. And I was looking at the center of the Milky Way and just sending love and gratitude. I was watching Antares rising. I was, looking, just, observing and sending love to the cosmos. Well. So I'm standing outside, and as I'm looking at Antares, near the center of the Milky Way galaxy, here is this blinking, throbbing, pulsating light that I have not seen for months and months and months. And there it is. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, and it kept going. And I immediately, instantly felt love, reassurance. I felt comfort. It is so hard to describe to you how I felt when I saw that. Whether, I seem to think whoever it is or what it is, was imparting this energetic dialogue to me, because it hit me instantly. All I can use as the key word was assurance, reassurance, assurance. It just felt so reassuring. That's the word for it, reassuring. Just reassurance. Oh, I felt so happy to see it again. And I knew the earring was something to do with this. It was just too coincidental. And I even took the time of it. So it happened around 7:18 p.m. and it went on for a couple of minutes. And as it usually would, it would just slowly disappear. and that's what it did. But here it was, stationary, just boom, boom, and you just see it flash. Oh, it felt so comforting. It felt, I had tears. I had tears. And I was so happy to see it again. Whatever it is, I have not got any information about it, but it's kind of really the first time I have felt this strong, reassuring energy. And like, I have felt things from it before, but this was very, very strong. And I seem to think whatever happened in the bathroom with the ear ringing was 100% connected with this. It was no coincidence that my ear rang like that. And then I was to see this light, because I have not seen it in such a long time, and I was missing the connection. So, and I haven't seen it since. So after it happened, I called my father, who shares the love of stars and astronomy like I do. I called him. I said, listen, you've got to go outside tomorrow night at this time, and I'm hoping it's going to be there. Well, guess what? It wasn't. So we both went out at that time, and where he's located, it's far away, but I was hoping we would see it. I didn't see it again. No ear ringing, no nothing since. But I will say, I have had a little bit of vertigo lately. There's been a couple nights where I have had some vertigo, and I know with vertigo, in 2009, 2010, I had the most shocking, concentrated alien UFO experiences. My vertigo, like, I guess the side effects of this, it was, I mean, I had the worst vertigo ever, like frightening vertigo, where um, I literally could not sit up in bed. And I remember at the time I had a part-time job working at the school, and I just thought, how the hell am I going to be able to get in my car and drive to work? I couldn't even think I could walk. But this was when I was having the really intense, frightening experiences, whatever was going on. But since then, it's been gentle. Out here, as far as I know, the only thing I've witnessed is the blinking light. But I have had a couple of dreams that been a little bit disconcerting with what's going to happen, but that's about it. Nothing, nowhere near as intense. I don't believe I've ever had mastitis down here, because that was another massive symptom. I was sick when this was all happening. My body, it was sick. It was sick from these experiences, and oh look, it was so intense. It was so intense, and it has absolutely shaped my life ever since. Of these encounters. And any of you that have had these encounters, you will know implicitly what I'm talking about. So, yeah, so that happened, and that only happened a couple of weeks ago. And I've written it down here, 7:18, blinking light, intense left ear ringing. Oh, goodness. Whoop, I'm just scrolling up to see the questions. LL says, are you still in school, Andulairah? Yes, I am. And look, let me tell you, I have now, and actually today, I have got to sit for my chemistry exam. I have got my chemistry exam today, and I've only got until tomorrow to complete it. So after I finish this live stream, I will start preparing for my exam, and I'm done with it. But I have now decided I am going to focus back again on my education degree. So I'm swapping back over from science to education, because I would like to be a science teacher, but part-time, only part-time. I do not want to be working full-time, because ultimately I want to be selling my date fruits. I want to be selling my roses. I want to be selling more seeds. I want my I want my abundance to be coming from the earth. But, I mean, I've kind of been teaching online for a long time as well, Um, so I would like to become a high school secondary teacher. So my great SRO, which is a student support officer, she has basically said, "Look, I know your struggle." She knows my boredom, and she's like, "You, all you've got to do is just stick this out. You've got to stick out the mundane units. You've got to do the units." She said, "Once it's done, you will never have to do these units again," because that is what stopped me from continuing with the education unit, was because I was so bored. But at the time then, I wasn't thinking about moving. I wasn't, I was still only, really doing part-time study. But now it's going to be full-time, so I'm going to be busy. But I'll be able to manage because it is, it's not that bad. And I'll just go with it in my own time. But I would like to teach in a classroom, part-time, part-time, part-time. So maybe only 2 or 3 days a week max. That's it. That's it. Because all the other time I want to devote to my practice. I want to devote to Elnor. But I know, and I don't know if you guys can relate to this. I'm sure many of you can. But my high school science teacher has had a lasting lifetime effect on me. I love this science teacher so much that even now, me and my girlfriends that I went to school with, we will talk about this science teacher and how much we love him so much, and oh, what's he doing now, and what's he look like now, and we've seen how he looks because we've looked him up. But this is the kind of science teacher, hello darlings, this is the kind of science teacher um, that he has won awards, like $50,000 awards for school excellence, because it is so obvious he is a very passionate school teacher. And let me tell you, he has left such a lifetime influence on me because of his teaching, because of his belief in us as students. Even the naughty kids, he always said to us, "I don't care where you're from, whether you're black, white, pink, blue, purple, from Mars, Jupiter, whatever." He says, "If you're in my classroom, you know, I will believe in you and I will help you achieve success in the classroom, so long as I get your respect and so long as you know, do the work, do the work." So he provided a lot of stability for kids that, perhaps came from broken homes, um, especially in the indigenous communities. Um, Kids wanted to come to his class because he was that good. That is a great school teacher. And I figured, perhaps I could have an effect on the younger generation as well. Because I've had a lot of life experience. I have been rich. I have been poor. I have been on the borders of Afghanistan. I lived in New York City. I've seen things, and I want to impart some of this life experience to these students, um, to let them know that you can be anything, anything you desire, anything you dream of. And okay, the coursework might be difficult for some of the kids, but to help them to believe in themselves, that step by step they can do this and they can understand it and perhaps even enjoy the work. So it just shows you my science teacher had this effect on me growing up. And I would like to think if I could do this for somebody else, it's I'm really concerned about this younger generation, you know, and so I would love to have some kind of imparting effect on them as well. I think I'd be a pretty firm teacher because I would be like my old teacher. All I would just ask for is respect, some fairness, and that if you're in the classroom, let's try our best together. Um, so, I would love to do that. I would love to teach part-time. But in order to do that, I have got to do and finish this fucking degree. And I will not be able to swear in the classroom. So I have got to learn to curb my mouth. And I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. I'll be okay once I'm in the swing of it, but it might take me a little while. So I'm hoping to be a science teacher majoring in biology and mathematics. So that's where I'm heading right now. That's where my units are for semester 2. And I am going to knock this out. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to take my units in semester 3. I'm not obligated to take any units in summer semester because it's technically when everyone's on vacay. But I want to knock it out. Now that my choice is made about me moving and where I would like to go with my future, I would really like to teach in these, because it's all kind of remote around here. I would like to teach in, a kind of country area school. I may have to commute. But everything is central. Around the Flinders, it's pretty central. So that's another outlet for me. So I'm hoping, doing it part time, I can then also focus on my world, Elnor world, wherever I end up. So I can do everything basically. So, so that's where we're at, and that's what's going on with my study right now. So I've been back and forth, back and forth. Bottom line is, I love science. So whether it's a science degree, um, education degree with science affiliations, yeah, but it's going to be education now, and there is no turning back. The decision is solid, and it has been made. Hi, Brett. Oh, good to see you too, honey. Yes, Prenom Middle Eastern perfumes are the best. Hi, Dania. Yeah. Oh, Dania says, I live here. Haha, you're right. So many great fragrances. Yes, honey. Oh, the best. The best. And I love, you know what, when I was at Emirates Mall or even in Dubai Mall, I love just stopping at the little island perfume bays that they have for like Swiss Arabian or Rassisi or anything. And they would give you the samples. I mean, everybody in that mall would be the best smelling people on earth. Plus using Bahor on top, which I still use. I have my own Bahor. I have my burner, and I've only washed my hair this morning, so it's a bit fluffy. Um, but I will smoke out my hair, and it lasts for days. Hi, Astral Healing. Peace and blessings to you, honey. Toto says, I love Swiss Arabian so much. Oh, thank you so much. Yes. Ah, hi, pretty sis. I have exquisite oils from childhood, empty now in a velvet box from Mahmoud Ahmed Al Shula Commercial Center. I think that Mahmoud Ahmed is gone now. I can't seem to find them to repurchase. Oh, I know how you feel, and that's how I feel about this Ud Hamdan. I've just remembered the company name. It's Anfar. Anfar Ud Hamdan is, when I first smelt that, it just took my mind elsewhere. And I do have the oil, but I have not been able to find the perfume, which I love. And I knew, and every time I'd spray it, I'm like, oh my God, my bottle's getting less and less. That's how good these perfumes are. Athena says, I have been having vertigo the last few days and nights where I have had to lay down. No joke. I have absolutely zero clue where it's coming from. Keep thinking maybe it was from dehydration or something. Could be from anything, honey. Could be from anything. Dania says, how do you manage your practical day-to-day life with these experiences? Well, at the time, obviously, they're very subtle. But in 2009 and 2010, it was difficult. But I just had to get on with it. Unless they absolutely made me, um, you know, unless, when all this, uh, when the abductions were taking place, that's when I was the sickest, because I believe they impregnated me with God knows what, and I believe I was carrying. I believe I was having some form of pregnancy because I had so many bodily pregnancy symptoms. You know, the mastitis. And the mastitis is probably what killed me the most, because I knew the day before when I was going to have a bout of mastitis, because my body would just shut down and I would have the most intense, deep bone aches, like bone aches, full body aches, cold chills, sweating, headaches. Oh my goodness. I remember the first time it happened, after I had, like, I think it was like after the first or second abduction experience. I just remember one morning in my parents' house, so sick, lying on the floor, and I had no idea what was going on with me. I said to my mother, I said, I think I'm coming down with something really, really bad, like a flu. At the time, I thought it was a flu, but it was nothing like I had ever experienced. And then the next day, my boobs were so swollen and sore and red, and I'm like, and the body aches were gone though, but I could barely touch my boobs because they were so sore. And I showed my mum, she's like, what the hell is going on? And I'm just like, I don't know. So my mother is a nurse, and she was freaking out. It was awful. But I just got on with it. What else can you do? I mean, I just had to get on with it. Do you miss the Middle East? Yes, I do. I definitely miss it. I definitely miss it. I don't miss the dryness, but I definitely miss the food. I definitely miss the bahur and the perfume. I definitely miss some of my family friends, and my sisters over there. I do keep in touch with one of the sisters pretty much, if not every day, every second or third day. And I love her like to death. She's a lifer for me. So we're in touch. She's actually a real princess, like real sheikha. So, she's had a real tough road as well. But um, this girl, I love her like, oh my gosh, one of those people that is just, incredible, incredible. Dania said, you would make a wonderful teacher. Oh, thank you. I remember how awful some of my teachers were. They made the already horrible high school experience much worse. Yes, I would have loved a good teacher. I agree with you. I had some shocking teachers as well, and we hated them. Like, we would wag their class. So wagging means we would skip their class. We would go we would go smoking. There was a group of us, and we would go out at lunch, and if we knew we had the dragon, we would skip the class and just hang out eating hot chips with gravy and smoking cigarettes. We were so naughty. But that's how much we hated. There was a couple of teachers. There was one, oh my God. And I only had her in primary, but all the kids were frightened of her. And she used to pick kids up by the ear. She used to throw chalk at them. She used to scream and shout, and she had the worst breath ever. And when I was visiting my grandmother at the time in the school holidays, my mother called me up, and my mother said, you're never going to believe who your teacher is for year 6. And I said, who? And then she told me her name, and her name was Mrs. Caddy, and I just burst into tears. I was so frightened and terrified and scared, and that's the kind of woman she was. She was frightening. And if she did even a quarter of the things that she did to kids in my class back then, she would be in jail. She would be in jail. Like she would pick on the kids that were, slow learners, or, struggled with absorbing anything. She was a monster. And then she married a guy and she was called Miss Moody. It was so perfect. So she would be in jail. There's no way she would have got away with the stuff that she did to us in a classroom. I'm lucky that I think she only kind of went off at me once or twice. Um, this is my mother calling, and I'm not answering her. Sorry, mother. Um, but she was a nightmare. We had a really terrible art teacher in year 9. His name was Mr. Frogley, and everybody, there was no respect for him because he was such a bad teacher. There's just some people, I think, that are in their jobs just because they have to, because teaching, at least in this country, is very good money. Um, I just think some teachers are just there for the paycheck and for their school leave, because they get paid for leave and everything. Like in a where I grew up, I know that the teachers, because it's so remote and because it's you get this what's called a locality allowance. So a teacher fresh out of college, out of university, first year teacher will get a base rate of about $78,000 a year. Then if you have locality allowance on top of that, remote allowance, you have different zones of at least this state, you will get easily $10,000 to $15,000 on top of that. So that's like a $90,000 a year job as someone that has just come out of uni. Like, that is unbelievable money. And so a lot of these, when I was living in the desert, a lot of these young, city, uni, fresh graduated uni teachers had just come out, and they were on a wicket, and they knew it, but because they hated the remoteness so much, and they didn't share the love for the place like maybe a local person did, they would only last about a year or two max, and then they were gone. So they would make all this money and then they would leave. And there was such a turnover of teachers in these remote schools because they just didn't share the same kind of love. But even though the money's good, I'd still only be doing it part-time and earning a side income from what I'm earning now. I'll be able to afford good fencing for my chickens, any kind of big renovations that I've not really been able to afford at this place. I could do on my new place. So it's always nice to have another stream of income coming in. And I'm always talking about diversification. With my old YouTube channel, I mean, look, if I still had that, I'd be pretty cushy now. But that was all taken away from me, and that was a big chunk of my bread and butter. So that was very difficult financially for me to get by on then. So it was tough. It was definitely tough. And so even though I earned pretty good money doing what I do now, it was never like it was, And but what do? You got to adjust. You got to adjust. But yeah. So I hope I become a good school teacher. I am. This is what I'm going to do. So my goal is a part-time science high school teacher. As much as I love younger kids, I feel I would I'd be good for high school kids that are just about ready to get in the world. Um, and I don't mind the naughty kids because I know what it's like to be a naughty kid. I wasn't too naughty, but I think if a kid is bored enough and they don't have a teacher's respect, or if the teacher doesn't respect them, kids are just going to play up. Kids are going to do what they're going to do. They're pretty honest and transparent. If the teacher's shit, the kids will reflect that. And I think you can't get more honest than a classroom vibe from a teacher. So I think it's pretty obvious. Uh, Prenom says, do you know how I discovered your channel? I was looking a few years ago for a video on how to make bahor, and since I have not abandoned you. I love your aura. Thank you so much. You must have seen the video, maybe. You might have seen the one with me in Dubai where I have the big bahor burner. Maybe you saw that one. Yeah. Athena says, do you believe that most alien abductions and experiments happen while we are asleep and then we are returned to our beds? I know it's crazy to most, but this is what I believe. Truly, I've seen it on camera. I've seen it on camera. There's a couple of videos. One has since been taken down. I cannot find it for the life of me. One that I actually even had, I'm pretty sure I had favorited in your little favorites thing. I can't find it, but it was literally of a woman. You can see her lying in the bed, husband's next to her, and you just see the sheets. She literally dissolves into the bed, and then there's nothing, and she's gone. The camera's still playing, and maybe a half an hour later, you just see her mold back into the bed. She obviously had been having some experiences, and they wanted to catch it on camera. And then if you go to the Polish Knob, who hasn't posted since they left the place, he lived in an area just near, we lived in Queensland in the northeastern part of Australia called Bellamble Heights. And I know he's got a lot of flack, a lot of hate, a lot of criticism. But his experiences, my gut clairvoyant vibe, was that it's all authentic. It's all authentic. And there's one video that my friend Jezza, if you're watching, if you watch later, Jeremy, he pointed out, and I didn't even see this video, and I'd seen a lot of Polish Snob's videos, but it's literally of his mum disappearing, and then 30 seconds later, she reappears, and I don't believe. Oh look, it's too elaborate. There's too many things to say this was a hoax, and you'll see it if you look up the channel. It's nuts. Yeah, I agree, Athena. Some people really should not be teachers. It's too crucial for humanity to screw with kids like that. I agree. Oh look, but teachers would never get away with it now, and I know this because looking at the coursework, it is so intense and it's so thorough, and there's so many different organizations around the education system now. So before I become a teacher, there's so many checks. I've already got a criminal child protection background check. I've always had that, but there's other things that have to be continually updated all the time. Okay, so listen, I'm a little cold, and I'm gonna go out, take advantage of this weather, and do a couple little planting, like getting my plants out the ground. And then I'm looking at my chemistry book, and I'm going to have to sit for my chemistry exam today. So wish me luck. I'm only looking for a pass. Right now I'm at 44%. I need 50 to pass. The exam is worth, is it 40%? I'm not sure. It's a big number. It's a massive exam. I am not looking forward to it. And I know if I'm too bored with it, or if I'm struggling too much with it. Do you know what I did in high school, actually, in my last year? I knew I was going to struggle with some of these. I was doing a maths competition, and I knew I was going to struggle with answering a lot of the questions. So what did I do? It was all multiple choice, and that clairvoyant psychic vibe just came out of me, and I literally just multiple choiced like everything. And that's what I'll probably do with the chemistry exam. But do you know what happened when I did that? So this math exam was like 3 hours. It was like an Australian-wide maths exam that we all had to sit for. Everyone, completely compulsory around the country. And it was so hard. Like looking at these questions, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm so bored with this. This was before I had any interest in maths and science, biology, any of that. I thought, this is so boring. This is so hard. It's a 3 hour exam. I literally sat down and less than 10 minutes later, I only think maybe 5 minutes had passed. I literally had already decided I am not sitting for this. All I'm going to do is just go down all the multiple choices and just circle. So I just skim readed the questions and put the answer what I thought was right. And the teacher who was supervising the maths competition, I got up within 5 minutes and he's like, "Oh, do you need to go to the bathroom?" I said, "No, I'm finished." And he looked at me and he's like, "You've only just started." I said, "Yeah, I know." And he's like, he put his hands up. He's like, "All right, okay, your choice." And, I handed it in and I went to the library for, the next 3 hours or until everybody else had finished. I completely forgot about this after. I forgot about it. All the other teachers had forgot about it. And then, like a few months later, the math teacher walks past me at lunchtime and he says, "Oh," he said, "I didn't know that you were a math whiz." I looked at him, I said, "Well, I'm not." He said, "You have got a high distinction in your math competition paper." He said, "You are in the top 5% bracket of the state." I actually got an award. I was presented with an award and I was put in the local paper. Like, I said, "This is a joke." I said, like, "Do you remember?" I don't even think he remembered how quick it took me to finish the exam. But, like, I knew there were kids in that class that had really wanted to perform well. And I felt like it was, I feel that I had cheated them out of this award. Um, well, not even like I was the only one that got the award and got top 5% in the state, in the entire school. But there were other kids in the state that had obviously got in the top 5% that got awards as well. I got a certificate. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. I thought, this is such a lie. This is such a lie because I didn't even like. Oh my God. And I thought, this is the universe. At the time, I mean, obviously, I didn't really, I didn't know what had happened, but I thought, this is a joke that God is playing right now. This is such a funny thing because at the time, I mean, it was just so natural just to go down, and that clairvoyance was just, oh, that was my champion that day. And I did so well. And yeah, so I don't know, like this is probably how I'm going to be with the chem exam today. I know, look, and if I, this is the thing, if I get too bored, I know I'm not going to put in effort. And in fairness to me, I don't actually think my chemistry unit is going to be added to credit to my education degree. So I've already done some units and I've already applied for credit and got credit for that. So I've transferred my credit from my science degree to my education. I don't actually think I can use chemistry for my education degree because chemistry is not a major or a minor that I am focusing on. So I don't even think it counts. So if I get to a point in this exam where I run out of multiple choice questions and this clairvoyant vibe, I'm not going to be doing any more than what I don't want to be doing. So that means I am sure there's going to be some short typed answers. I will most likely avoid those, much to the dismay of my um, chemistry examiners. But my heart's just not there. I mean, I loved chemistry because it was so intellectually stimulating, but we have had so much intense coursework and we have flown through it so quickly. How can you expect anyone to retain that? Especially someone that does not have a background in chemistry. So I think I actually shared one of the questions on chemical thermodynamics that I was working on at the time on my blog, because I think I was doing, it might have been my mid-semester, no, sorry, it was my lab assignment that I had to have in by June the 4th. And I could not get the answer for this question. Chemical thermodynamics. I was doing equilibrium, entropy, enthalpy. If any of you, chem heads out there are familiar with chemistry, look, this was what I was doing. And I just thought, how is this going to apply to my life? I mean, I know everything is based on chemistry. We are, a complete chemical kit. But it was a brain fry. My brain was fried, basically. So wish me luck with my chemistry exam, because that's what I'm going to go off and do. I just need to ground for a little bit first, so I will go out in the garden for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I'm going to probably have a smoothie. I'm just looking in my kitchen now. Have still got a lot of mice and a lot of rats, and that's another thing I'm not going to miss here. I've got so many holes. Well, actually, I don't have so many holes, but there's one up in the ceiling, which is bowed, which I could easily probably fix. But there is one in the floor that I keep putting things and jamming things down in there. And the mice and the rats keep eating it, and they keep coming in. And so I've got a rat trap set, which is an ethical rat trap. And then I've got mouse traps that I'm always catching mice still every single day. I've lost count. It's well over 100 now. And I've caught about 5 or 6 rats. And they are not fun to be sleeping with when you hear them at night. They make such a raucous and racket around my house because they're nocturnal. And the mice, hearing the mice just, I've actually done them a favor with all this fabric on the wall. They have used their ingenuity to now climb up and crawl up the walls because they use the fabric to hold them in place as they walk up. So I've done a favor for them. They're walking all over my walls. And so I'll be sitting here at night, and right behind me where you can see the papyrus, I'll see like this bump just moving up behind the fabric, and it's a mouse. So this is every day for me. I was just reading. Oh, look, there is absolutely a choice to study slower, because I've been doing my part-time study. I'm only going full-time now because I just want to knock it out. I want to get it done, and it's still going to be about 3 years. So don't worry. I will not be able to be a school teacher until about 3 years. So I've still, because everything that I've done, there's only so much credit I can transfer over to an education degree. So it's gonna, it's gonna be still a little while, but I just have to knock it out, get it done, and then I can decide after. I might decide after 3 years I don't want to do it, but I'm pretty sure that I do, because I look at how rewarding that can be for a student's life, or how a teacher can influence somebody else's life. And I know how my science teacher did that to me, and he was amazing, and he's still teaching, and I know he's having that effect on others because they petitioned him to be a participant for this excellence award, a nationwide excellence award, and he got one of the categories. And I couldn't have picked it better myself. He is absolutely worthy and deserving of that, because I know of the effect that he had on me. So wish me luck for my chem exam, guys. And I'm going to leave you with a blessing and sending you all my love. and, you know, encouraging you. Like, the time is now to be living and breathing your dreams. And if you're not happy where you are, then to change that. I am now changing, you know, my direction of where I'm going to be living. And I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait, because time is precious. Our life is precious. Time is just going in the blink of an eye. And it's time to set yourself up. And, you know, it's now. It's now. And I'm not waiting any longer. Not that I've really waited, but now I've made the firm decision. Like, it's taken me a while to come round, come round. Everything is in divine timing. So, you guys, I love you, and I send you my blessings all around planet Earth. And know your divinity, know your sovereignty, know your place. You know, for you are constantly watched, and you are always surrounded by an unseen support network. So walk with your head high, walk with your heart filled, and always follow your dreams. Allow your heart to be the compass, for you are never unnoticed. You are never unnoticed. So sending you many blessings, sending you my love, and may you always, always, always be blessed by the supreme truth and love of the cosmos. I love you guys, and I wish you the very best. Have a good day.